What is going on, Bills Mafia, Built in Buffalo fan? Welcome to another episode of Triple Coverage Podcast. Unfortunately, it is just two of us today. Lance unable to make it today, but got a great show for you guys tonight. And we're getting into the week of the Browns. So, Scott, how you doing?
Doing great. Yeah, we got double coverage tonight. Dad's not here, so we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rowdy one for sure. But yeah, I mean it's in Cleveland this week. Obviously, this past week did get the win against the Patriots in a wild game. So we'll go over that real quick first to start. Just let's start it off. I mean, Scott, what's your first reaction to the Pats game?
Yeah, I mean the Bills are most definitely a second half team. A lot of people say it jokingly. With the Bills, it's really true. We've had the Ravens game, which was a crazy comeback. The Bengals game, which down 11, 7 minutes left, isn't as crazy, but still a pretty good sized one. And then down 21-0 on Sunday, things were looking bleak to say the least. But we got the touchdown before half to get a little bit of momentum, and then Ray Davis starts it with a kick return right off the rip to around the plus 40. So they got great field position, and then the offense never stopped after that. So yeah, second half team, which it'd be nice if they were a first and second half team, but I guess if you had to choose your half to be, that's where you'd want to be.
Yeah, even, I was even getting a little, I usually try to stay level-headed throughout the entire game, but you saw me even during the game just kind of getting annoyed with how, it is annoying for Bills Mafia to see these slow starts, but, you did have that feeling in the back of your mind of, there's a lot of football to play. They ended up obviously, getting the ball back to start the second half, like you said, and came out and scored. So that was huge. But yeah, another game where, Twitter was definitely not a place to be if you wanted to calm your emotions during the game, because they were all over.
Twitter's never a place to be for that.
Never. But especially during the first half of this game, I believe it was kind of funny to see both the Patriots fans and Bills fans first half reactions compared to then the end of the game. Obviously completely opposite for both teams. But yeah, I mean, the offense again just was one of those things where slow start, defense not the best start, and second half just put it all together. So huge win, and it was definitely awesome, I think, for a lot of the fans here to see the Patriots fans kind of going crazy on Twitter afterwards. Dave Portnoy, I know, posted that video at halftime saying it was over. The AFC East is the Patriots again, and then afterwards was posting about how, he is the jerk in this situation. But yeah, it was funny to see. But what was, I guess, the number one thing that you took away from this game?
I mean, I guess it would be, again, they're a second half team, but I love the way the defense responded. That's been the case in a lot of games. Like, even if you go back, the Falcons game, I know they lost that one, but the defense was awesome in the second half. The Ravens game, they weren't as awesome in the second half, but they got the stops when they needed to. The Bengals game, they tightened up in the second half a lot. So the defense feels like they're really good at making adjustments, which with Sean McDermott as your head coach and being a defensive head coach makes a lot of sense. And I think it's something that's really good that he is that way. But yeah, just the adjustments that they make. The offense, most of the losses this season have been on the offense, not the defense. But it seemed like they got rolling, they got their momentum, and hopefully that carries over, because we're in the stretch now. We're in Christmas time football, so it is just the Browns this week, and they're not maybe as tough of an opponent, but all these games matter with building momentum for the playoffs. So the offense seems to have been gotten rolling. Joe Brady seemed to find his groove a little bit, so all these adjustments will add up, and hopefully they can keep this momentum going down the stretch. But yeah, Matt Milano was awesome. Kind of the old heads showed up, or I guess the unks, as the kids say these days. Milano had 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Trey White had a pick. You can debate if he should have caught it or not with field position, but still, like, really cool for Trey White. He's played really well, especially in the absence of Benford on Sunday. So it was cool to see the guys on the defense step up who've been here for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really, I guess, a takeaway that people haven't already had, but I mean, it's just, Josh Allen is Josh Allen, and James Cook is James Cook. And, when you have those two, anything is possible as long as there's, time left on the clock. You can do anything offensively, you can get rolling, and that's exactly what they did. So, I guess that's my takeaway I'll have is just, never count them out with Josh Allen and James Cook back there. It is two guys that can definitely lead this team far. Before we get on to the rest of like moving on to this week, we talked about obviously slow starts and how it's been a kind of common theme for this team. When you get then now to the end of the season into the playoffs, it's a different animal during the playoffs. Can they afford to continue to have these slow starts once you get there?
You would think no, but the teams that they've beat while doing it are pretty good teams. Say what you want about the Bengals and their record, but the Bengals with Joe Burrow are a very different team than the Bengals without. And they did it against the Bengals with Joe Burrow. They did it against the Patriots, who coming into the game, I believe, were the 1 seed, at least tied for the 1 seed. Now they've dropped down to the 2. And then the Ravens. And the Ravens in week 1 were, again, a very different team than they've been this season. They were the Super Bowl favorites at this point. So it's not ideal, and playoff games are very different, and teams will probably play them out a little bit differently. So it's logical to think that these slow starts will catch up to them, and hopefully in the playoffs, you probably can't afford to spot a team 21 points, but with the way they close in the second half, who knows? So hopefully it's not a problem we have, but they're coming back against some pretty good teams, teams that they very well could see in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, you think that, once you get to playoffs, it won't be able to be sustainable to continue to come back. But we have seen some pretty big comebacks in the playoffs. Especially over the past few years. You had Trevor Lawrence storming back against, I believe it was the Chargers. You had the Mahomes and the Chiefs were down 24-0 to the Texans early in the game and ended up storming back pretty quickly and winning. I believe it was a few years ago at this point.
In 2019, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see it over the past few years that it is possible. Obviously, like you said, though, not ideal. Something that, for me, I mean, I've said it a couple times. That's the one thing about the Sean McDermott teams that we've seen kind of happen over the past few years are these slow starts. And is it coaching? Is it the players? For me, I like to think, if it happens once or twice, a couple times, it's the players. But if it happens this continuously, I believe it does have to do with a little bit of preparation when it comes to the overall coaching and players. But this is a team that's resilient, and hopefully they can clean it up. So we'll see. But I mean, it was another game though that huge for the division, keeps it alive. Now we need the Jets or Dolphins, which obviously, if you haven't seen, the Dolphins.
Quinn Ewers, baby.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers no longer Tua Tagovailoa's team, and maybe one of him, or I can't even think of who the undrafted rookie right now. Brady Cook for the Jets, is that it?
Yeah, undrafted rookie. Mizzou.
We're banking on one of those two to beat the New England Patriots, but it doesn't matter if the Bills can't take care of their own business the next few weeks as well. So let's get into, though, our 7-1 slicker of the week, as we always do. This week, it's going to be Connor McGovern, Bills center. Another guy that we actually were able to interview this past Monday. It came out yesterday, so if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. Amazing guy, awesome dude, great player. Really gave us a lot of insight on ins and outs of even just how the line operates and what's kind of the season been like with kind of opening playbooks up and just with guys like David Edwards next to him. So really go check that out. It is on the Built in Buffalo YouTube page. If you also could, if you want, go see it back on Twitter and Facebook. It did go live yesterday, so be sure to check that out. Awesome interview. So let me pull up, though, here. If you do, though, it is brought to you by the 7-1 Slicker of the Week. So it's 7-1 Slicks Barbershop over in Broadway in Depew. If you do scan this QR code, it will take you over. You can make an appointment, get your hair cut. Lance is the one that had the most recent cut there. So unfortunately, we don't have a picture of him to show for his cut. But as always, he does look.
Or fortunately.
Or fortunately, whichever way you think of it. But yeah, great guys over there over at 7-1 Slicks. So be sure to check them out. But yeah, Connor McGovern is going to be the recipient this week. And I do also want to shout out Lancaster Bounce House. Let me pull this up. Lancaster Indoor Bounce House and Safari Arcade as well. Lance did use them for his son Theo's birthday party. Phenomenal. If you're ever looking, if you have a niece, nephew, son, daughter, whatever it is that you want to do something for their birthday, be sure to check them out. The Lancaster Indoor Bounce House and Safari Arcade. So,
or not their birthday. It doesn't have to be a kid's birthday to throw them a party.
Yeah, you could do it for
just because
Christmas
it's
for all
Tuesday
we know.
and you're a
It's
kid.
Christmas. Just go out, do something
Bouncing's fun
fun.
any day of the week, not just on your birthday.
Exactly. So Christmas. If your family's in town, go take them. But on to now the news that we've gotten this week and into the Browns game. Big game this week again. First, let's start it off. Michael Badgley signs. Prater.
Money Badger.
Matt Prater is hurt, so it's I don't believe they gave a timetable for him, but
week to week.
Yeah, Michael Badgley comes in. He did kick this year for the Colts because I believe Spencer Strader got hurt, and then once they decided to move on from Badgley as well. But on the year was 13 for 15 on extra points made, or sorry, that was last year. 18 for 21 on extra points made. Was 10 for 11 on field goals made. His only miss was a 50-plus yarder. So, you definitely can get a lot worse when it comes to free agent kickers. So what do you think of Michael Badgley being the kicker now for at least this week?
Yeah, it was weird. The Prater news kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. You didn't notice anything from him in the game. I guess as a kicker, you probably wouldn't unless they just didn't kick. So hopefully it's something minor. I would imagine it happened at some point during the game, and then he played through it. Hopefully, it's a precautionary thing because Prater's been so good for the Bills this year. He's missed a couple extra points, but he's been solid overall. So hopefully, they have him back for the playoffs. Hopefully, this is precautionary. But yeah, Badgley's kind of a weird last few years. Was out of the league last year in 2024, but been money on actual field goals, but missed a few extra points. Those can definitely matter. So hopefully. He's gotten those out of his system this year. It's nice that he's kicked in games this season, so he's in a rhythm. Guy's bounced around the league for a long time, been in the league since 2018, so he has experience. Kicked. I was going to say he kicked in Chicago, but that was only for one game. So it'll be interesting to see how he can kick in Buffalo. Most of his spots have been either warm weather cities or in domes. So we'll see if the wind and the cold in Buffalo give him any trouble. But again, hopefully this is just precautionary.
Yeah, you mentioned the extra points. It kind of does sound a little bit like how Prater's been on the year. Prater feels like when it comes to field goals, he's been money for the most part, and then he's missed a few extra points, most notably the Texans game, which did, like you said, it can come back to bite you. It came back to bite him in the Texans game because if they would have had that, probably send it to OT. So, yeah, I mean, I like I said, you can definitely get a lot worse when it comes to kickers this late in the year. It's December, so not a lot of guys are free agents. Not a lot of guys are ready to go. A lot of them, are either kicking by themselves during this time or haven't kicked at all. So having Badgley, like you said, having a guy that has kicked this year is definitely nice. So, yeah.
Given some of the moves that have been made out there, I guess Vinatieri was busy.
Yeah, man. I thought he was going to maybe go back to the Colts. The Colts are. I'm surprised they didn't ask T.Y. Hilton either at this point. So, hey, age does not matter in the NFL, that's for sure. But yeah, we'll see how he does. Another guy that could be coming back, his practice window is open. Mecole Hardman, guy that only saw, I believe, one game before he was placed on injured reserve. So his practice window is open, 21-day practice window. For those who don't know. Means he can practice for 21 days. After that 21 days, they have to activate him. They have to pull him off and be able to say, hey, he's on the active roster. Might see him this week, probably not. But, you never know. You do see some people, as soon as they're activated, they play that week. Sometimes it takes 3 weeks for them to practice or to play in a game. Do you think that we'll see him again this season, whether it's regular season or postseason?
I don't. The Bills it's a free roll to open its practice window because 3 weeks from now is the end of the season. And then in the playoffs, it all resets. So it doesn't matter. So it's a free roll to open his practice window. He was a full participant today. So you got to imagine he's healthy. You'd imagine he's probably been healthy for the last couple of weeks. But Cooks kind of came in and took that deep threat role. And Ray Davis has absolutely grabbed the kick returner spot. Like, he's not giving that up. They even stopped putting Ty Johnson out there and just had Ray Davis do it this past week. So I would be surprised if we see Hardman play, maybe come playoff time. But yeah, it's a free roll to open his practice window. They don't have to bring him back because there's only 3 weeks left in the season. So might as well get him going in case you need him. But yeah, I'd be surprised if we see him again at all.
Yeah, The only way I think we do see him is if for some reason they really want a better punt returner. And you've even seen
Agreed.
him fumble a punt already this season, right? So, that's really, like we said, Ray Davis has taken over the kick returner. He's done great. Punt returning has been a little bit of an issue when it comes to helping out field position, but at the same time, are you going to waste a roster spot for a guy just to return punts? Obviously, they've done it in the past with returners, but that with Codrington, but he was both kick and punt return. Is just punt returner really that important? We'll see, obviously, if they do activate him and that's his only role, then that tells us, hey, they do value this. Like you said, though, I don't know if there is besides that a way that he finds his way back into the receiving core, because like you said, you have Cooks. Gabe Davis, I don't think he'll be scratched too much more often this year. You have Shavers still, Keon Coleman they've been bringing back in, Palmer, Shakir, like that's 6 already there. Who would you bump off? Are they going to even activate 6 every game? Are they going to go to 5? They've had 5 some, they've had 6 some. So yeah, it's going to be tough for him unless he really shows out in practice and they say, hey, we really would like him in this lineup. But I just don't see it happening as well. So that does, though, bring it to our next question here of what receivers do you have out here? What every game, what are you bringing out for the active receivers out of the guys that I just listed?
Yeah, last week, I think a lot of people were surprised that Gabe was a healthy scratch. I would be surprised if that happened again. Palmer came back from his injury, and he's not going to be scratched, so that they had to sit somebody because they only went with 5. And that person that was the H bomb was Davis. Like I said, would be surprised if that happens again. If they go 5 receivers in the future, it wouldn't surprise me if Brandon Cooks gets sat, to be honest with you. I know he's only been here a few games, had an opportunity to make a big play on Sunday, and he bobbled the ball out of bounds, basically. And it would have been an awesome start to the game on the first play. They took a shot. It was there. For all intents and purposes, he dropped it. Shakir's not sitting. Palmer's not sitting. I don't think Keon is going to sit again, especially with how well he's done in the blocking game recently. Like he had that block on the Josh run this week. That was awesome. And they love that. Like we saw that third down late in the game against the Pats. The screen to Ty Johnson didn't work because Josh Palmer got blown up. Like receivers in the Bills offense have to block, and Keon can block. Gabe could also block, which is why I don't think he'll be inactive again. Cook's not as much of a blocker. So if there was to be an odd man out, if they choose to go 5 receivers, I have a feeling it might be Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, for me, part of me sometimes thinks it's either going to be Shavers or Davis. Because
I don't think Shavers is sitting. He plays almost the most snaps of any receiver. He blocks. He plays all the special teams. None of those other guys play special teams. He's on all of them. So not only do you have to replace a receiver, but now you got to replace somebody on all 4 special team phases. So I think Shavers is a lock every week.
The only reason I say that is because they're both, like you said, blocking receivers. They can block very well. Cooks, yes, he had that drop, but at the same time, is he one of your best separators at that point? Like he's older, but he still has shown the ability to be a better separator than probably Coleman, probably Shavers, and probably Davis. Like it's a weird one because he's only been here a little bit, but he made it known that he wants to be here. They made it known that easily that they went and got him quickly. I mean, it's going to come down to, I think, maybe they do say Coleman. I mean, maybe I think it could depend matchup wise how they feel. If they want, hey, we want Coleman to be out there, a bigger body, or if we want, maybe it is between Coleman and Cooks. Maybe it is that type of situation where, hey, we're going to go with Cooks because he can separate a little bit better than Keon, or we're going to go.
But it's not like he's been separating. Like you think of his catches, he had a comeback against the Steelers. The route he ran on Sunday was just a deep cross. Like it's not like he routed anybody up. Like it's just like a run away from the guy route. Like it's not like his separation's gotten him anything.
And but at the same time, it's
other things.
Is it already, though, more than what Keon's shown you about being able to get open, even if it's not routing a guy up? Like that's the question.
The guy's just he hasn't run many routes. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be like I think the rest of the season it might be the next 3 games you might see it change each game. You might see Cooks down one game, you might see Coleman down one game, you might see Gabe down one game. Like it's just tough because like yeah, we don't know if for sure he's a better separator than Coleman. I would probably guess he is just because of Coleman's struggles with separating in his short career so far and this year.
Yeah, that's not what he's good at.
Yeah, and again, it might be like, hey, they might say, hey, we just need a guy that's Coleman. We still want you, but at the same time, right now in this moment in the playoffs or whatever, we just are going to go with Cooks because he has more experience. He's just shown more ability to separate, whether it's in game, in practice, overall as a whole, obviously throughout his career. So it's going to be, I think, but between those, I like you said, between those four, one of those four each game, unless they go six, they could go. They could easily say, hey, we're going to
Yeah,
go
they
six.
could.
We've seen it before this year with six, but it's going to be, maybe if a guy goes down, if they decide to make somebody else inactive on the defensive side, maybe. But it's going to be definitely, I think, the next 3 weeks interchangeable, and that you might not see the next 3 weeks the same receiving core each week. But like you said, obviously Coleman, Palmer, or Shakir, Palmer, those are two locks to eat BH every week. And Shavers, you made a good point. It probably is. Yeah, he probably is the closest to being that third lock each week just because of his ability to play special teams, to block and everything. But yeah, I do think Gabe will be active this week because you said it yourself. I know I said I didn't like the play call. I still didn't love the play call, but it would have worked on that 3rd and 2 late in the game against the Pats. You get it out to Ty Johnson. If Palmer makes that block, it's a first down. Palmer kind of whiffed on the block, didn't really make a great block there. Obviously, we punted back to him. Didn't end up biting us.
Up.
Yeah, didn't end up biting us, so ended up being fine. But Gabe probably makes that block, right? He probably makes that block, and Ty Johnson has that first down. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be definitely a big question mark for each game. I think could, like I said, change each week. But yeah.
For reference, last week, Shakir was at 69% of the snaps. Nice. Coleman was 56. Shavers was 50. Palmer 33, and Cooks 34. So
I think Palmer's number will go up slowly.
Yeah, agreed. He was coming back from being out, and I think that would lower Cook's snap count, which
yeah,
he's been at like 36% was his highest snap share so far this season.
Yeah, we'll see though. It's gonna be a big question each week. But like I said, I think each week, the next 3 weeks, it will be different each week. Unless this week they figure something out and they're like, hey, we're just gonna roll with what's working. Maybe we could see. But in other news in the NFL, down goes Goliath, right? Goliath is no longer going to be in the playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs are officially out of the playoffs. They had one of the worst weeks probably in the last 10 years for their organization this week. You have knock out of the playoffs. You have Mahomes go down with a torn ACL. You have Travis Kelce saying, I hope the Chiefs can go be great next year, not saying we. All of those together, if you're a Chiefs fan, I mean, I have a couple of people that I follow that are Chiefs fans that are great accounts. They are really just kind of in shambles right now. They said, hey, it was a great run. They're still acknowledging that and saying we love what, we're grateful for what we've had the past 8 years. But they also see they have some bad contracts. Like we said with Mahomes, he tore ACL and LCL. And then you have Kelce that looks like he's going to retire. Andy Reid, who knows what will happen with him? He's getting older. It seems like, at least play calling wise, he's obviously still a great play caller, but not the same as he once was. Spagnuolo's getting older. Chris Jones doesn't look like the same he has in the past. Still, again, a good player, but does not look like the elite Chris Jones we've seen in the past. A lot of question marks. They've handed out extensions to Karlaftis. They handed out an extension to Nick Bolton. They both had down years this year. They have, is it Drew? No, not Drew Tranquil. Is it Drew Tranquil, the other linebacker? No. Who's it? Yeah, Drew Tranquil. He's a free agent, and it looks like Bolton. He might be on his way out from a post that he posted. So what are your just thoughts on the Chiefs in general right now? Obviously, it's been Chiefs-Bills a lot of years in the playoffs. They've been the Brady to our Manning, and it's been just a really brutal rivalry with the Chiefs, at least in the playoffs. So what are your thoughts on the Chiefs the past week?
Yeah, I think I saw a stat. I might be getting the year wrong, but I think it's the first AFC Championship game since 2010 without Big Ben, Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes. It's crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be weird not to have the Chiefs there. You hate that it happened with Mahomes tearing his ACL. Like it's not like their season was probably over anyway. Like they needed a ton of things to happen. But you just hate that Mahomes tore his ACL because he's such a good player, and you hate to see injuries. So that was just kind of a bummer, the way that it happened. But there was so many things that had to happen on Sunday. I saw like someone post the list, and I was like, I ain't reading all of that. Like that's not going to happen today. And then it did, and now they're out of it. So going to be a weird playoffs. But yeah, the Chiefs kind of maybe like kind of a mini rebuild. Kelsey, we said he's retiring, but he hasn't been the same guy this year anyway. They definitely need to overhaul the receiving room. They need help on the O line.
Running
Mahomes
back
will
room.
probably be yeah. They like a running back room, honestly. Pacheco is a free agent. I doubt they want to bring him back. Kareem Hunt is old, and yeah, just a running back room. So they got a lot of work to do. So it'll be a big offseason in Kansas City. But some other games this week, the Ravens and the Patriots is kind of an interesting one for us as far as rooting interests because the Patriots lose, we would still need them to lose to the Jets or the Dolphins for us to win the division. But it gives us a little more wiggle room. Like we can afford to drop one of the games to the Browns and the Eagles. Not that we think that will happen. But if the Patriots beat the Ravens, like that pretty much buries them, which I think I would prefer for the Patriots to beat the Ravens and then just kind of get them out of there. So we're getting to crunch time where every game means something. But yeah, it's gonna be good. Would be a lot of people saying, "Oh, the Bills' easiest path without maybe the Ravens, without the Chiefs, without Joe Burrow," and they're definitely not wrong. Say what you will about this being the worst Bills team in the last few years, which it very well might be, but tell me at the beginning of the year we don't have to see Mahomes, Burrow, or Lamar in the playoffs. I'm signing up for that.
Yeah, it's you're starting to get to the point of, I said it a few weeks ago, like we talked about playoff scenarios. I was like, oh, there's so much football left. We gotta see what happens the next few weeks. And now you're starting to get to, you're starting to see, hey, these are the possibilities. I did see one scenario which I thought would be hilarious. It's very unlikely that it happens. There could be 6 teams in the AFC finish at 11-6, which would be comical. Obviously,
What
very
is this,
low.
the ACC?
Yeah, exactly. Like very low chance it happens, but if it does, I believe it'd be the first time, obviously, ever that would happen. But right now, if the playoffs started today, we would be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars first round in Jacksonville. We'd be the 6 seed. Chargers would be the 5. 7 seed is completely blank in my mind right now. I have no idea why.
The Texans.
The Texans. I mean, it's just, this is such a weird year, like you said, because you have those 3 teams out, but at the same time, Lamar's had one of the worst years of his career. Mahomes, who
probably
didn't have
the worst.
Yeah, probably the worst. Mahomes, who didn't have a bad year, but the Chiefs had the worst year they've had, obviously, in the past 8 years. The Bengals, Joe Burrow gets hurt. It's been kind of another weird year, and they have their own problems now with what's going on with Joe Burrow's mindset. So, yeah, it is one of those years where if you're a Bills fan, you're saying this needs to be the year. Like, this needs to be the year before all those teams can kind of regroup and see what they could do this offseason. And Cody came in with the question, do we think they can win the AFC Championship? For sure. I'm going to say 100% for sure. Like, especially when you go into the playoffs thinking, like Scott said, like you don't have any of those 3. Josh is already then the best quarterback in the AFC this year. You can argue, I don't want, you can hear the arguments of May or whoever else, but it is without a doubt, it's Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the AFC playoffs this year. He has the most playoff wins, most biggest resume, obviously not getting to a Super Bowl or anything. But yeah, this team can easily do it. I mean, the offense can get hot. As long as Josh gets hot, this offense can get hot. This defense, I know that we have had PTSD in the past of, them being the reason we lose in the playoffs. But at the same time, do any of these offenses really scare you that much in the AFC at least? Like, none of them really scare me that much. I mean, you saw we were able to beat the Patriots. Texans, they don't have, like, their defense scares me, if anything. Broncos, again, same thing. Defense scares me, if anything. Jacksonville, probably the same, but at the same time, neither of them really scare me. Like, this is definitely a year they 100% can. I think this team is good enough to win it all. The only team that really in the NFL scares me if we had to play them would be in the Super Bowl and be the Rams. And they have to get there as well first. The NFC it's going to be a dogfight throughout the NFC. So you're starting to see these playoff scenarios play out. Like you said, you probably want the Patriots to win this weekend. It's weird, but if you want the Ravens out, this is what you want them to win. But at the same time, if they, it's weird. Like it's weird thinking like, hey, if we don't get the 1 seed, if we don't win the division, it might in some ways be better. Like I've heard people saying that it might be better to finish as the 5 seed and have to go play a Pittsburgh first round, and then second round it would be
agreed.
Denver or
Probably
Jacksonville.
Denver,
Like,
yeah.
It really wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Obviously, if all the 1 seeds win, then you have to go to New England, which again, is that the worst thing in the world? No, we just beat them in New England. You saw that we were able to do it. So yeah, it's going to be one of those things where you want to you want to be able to think that, hey, this should be the year, and that this is the year easily. And I'm just reading Cody's comment. He said, "I'm talking about do you think they can lose? Oh, do we think the Patriots can lose to the Jets or Miami? I mean, yeah, it's the NFL. That's at least mine. It's any given week. Is it likely?
Can they lose to the Jets? No. Can they lose to the Dolphins? Probably not. But hey, crazier things have happened.
If McDaniels really gets in his bag and Quinn Ewers ends up being what some people thought he was, a very small amount of people thought that he could be, I mean, maybe. I'd probably place my money on no, but we'll see. It's definitely going to be, week 18, anything can happen. So it also is one of these. This is, I believe, the latest since 2016 that not a single division has been clinched by any division in the NFL. So it's a rare year in the NFL. So a lot can happen. Let's get to the injury report, though. Scott, do you want to go over the injury report?
Yeah, I can do that. So kind of weird injury report. I had a few guys show up today that weren't on it yesterday, and that's never a good thing. But some of the big dogs, Benford was limited the past 2 days. You would imagine he's probably trending towards playing unless they sit him out this week as a precaution. Bernard was full today, so we're hoping he'll be back. But with the way Shaq Thompson's been playing and is so good against the run, debatable how much we'll see of him. Dion was out the past 2 days with an illness, but assuming he's dead on Sunday, he's going to play. Mecole Hardman, we talked about. Taron has been limited. Daquan Jones are both limited after being full yesterday, which is not a great thing. But again, yesterday was just a walkthrough, so it's not like they really did a whole lot. Cam Lewis, Chase Lunt, and Mitch Wishnowsky all showed up today as limited, which again, yesterday being away, but yesterday didn't even have a designation. So hopefully that's just precautionary, nothing crazy. We see all those guys Sunday. Dalton Kincaid was a DNP with his knee the past 2 days, which isn't good. It kind of feels like a little bit how it felt with Palmer before he came back this past week and now seems to be healthy. It was he would be out a week and then he'd play and then that would set him back. So with the playoffs coming up and Dawson Knox playing so well and Hawes being so good in the blocking game, you wonder if maybe they rest him this week. Like there's no real rush to get him back as long as he's back before the playoffs. And then as we mentioned earlier, Jordan Phillips and Matt Prater are both out this week. So a long injury report, but not as serious as maybe it's been in the past, and trending that most of those guys will play with maybe the exception of Kincaid. Everybody else probably good to go, I would say.
Yeah. And Benford is not officially out by any means. I see in the comments there. Benford is not officially out. If anything, I do think, like Scott said, he might even be trending towards playing. I mean, 2 limited practices in a row. Tomorrow's the big day. Friday is always the big day when it comes to seeing what's going to happen. But 2 limited back-to-back is always good, but nothing official yet, at least from what I've seen, unless it maybe just happened. But I haven't seen anything official with Benford. The funny part with Wishnowsky, the punter, I was listening on the radio this morning on the way to work, and Sale had mentioned how with punters and quarterbacks and kickers, they have to specify which leg or which arm it is, just in NFL. Like they don't have to with any other players, but they have to. It is his right leg. Is it weird to say that if Wishnowsky isn't 100%, I'd be fine going for it literally 90% of the time this game? Like, does it make them get more aggressive? I mean, do you think that would be a possibility that it would get them to become more aggressive in this game against Cleveland if they have a punter who's not 100%?
I mean, maybe, but I don't like that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it might just be more like if you're at towards midfield or anything and it's short yardage,
Yeah, I
maybe.
think they probably go for it then anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if maybe they have an emergency punter that we don't know about. Maybe.
Yeah, what's Zach Davidson doing?
Yeah, is he on the practice squad still? I can't remember right now.
No,
No, I was just
no,
saying
he got
I
that.
don't think he was, but
He gone.
Cam Lewis is one that sucks for me that sticks out a little bit. Hamstring injuries, I say it constantly. Hamstring injuries, I hate hearing that somebody has a hamstring injury because those, if not properly treated, can linger a lot. I mean, you just saw Devontae Adams. He's been battling the past few weeks, and all of a sudden now it's kind of tweaked it last week, and he's not playing tonight. So hamstring injuries do kind of worry me a little bit. It is good to see Bernard back full. Kincaid, man, I don't really even know what to say at this point with Kincaid because it's just like it's been frustrating with his career, but at the same time, you got to make sure he's healthy and ready to go when you need him the most.
Yeah.
Is this game
when he's out there? He's so good.
Yeah, is this game an absolutely we need Dalton Kincaid? Probably not. I mean, at least it shouldn't be. Like, no offense to the Cleveland Browns, but it should not be a game where we absolutely need him. Deion, like you said, unless he's literally in the hospital, he'll be playing likely. And then we went over Benford and everything. So, yeah, it's definitely better than it was 5-6 weeks ago. Still a lot of work to do with some of these guys. Hopefully, though, the main thing is nobody else is added to it after this week. So that's the big part. Let's hope that happens. And we'll see what goes on from there. When it comes, I see.
Yeah, if you want to see a long injury report, go look at the Browns one.
The Browns one have a brutal one this week, and it's
yeah.
They definitely are a team, like we said, that can't afford to lose many more players. So I do see Mariano.
They're also at the point where it doesn't matter. Like their season's done. Like if guys are banged up, like what's the point?
Yeah, that's true. I do see Mariano.
Like Denzel Ward hasn't practiced both days. Like that's just one of the big ones. He's their best corner.
Mm-hmm.
Delpit been limited both days. So if we don't have to see those guys on Sunday, I wouldn't mind that at all.
No, wouldn't. Marianne did though ask any news on Ed Oliver. Last we've heard is potentially that he could be back for the start of the playoffs. Potentially. I mean, he has been slowly getting there. That was about 1 or 2 weeks ago that we heard that. At first, it was, hey, if the only way he's going to be back is if the Bills make the Super Bowl. All of a sudden now, I mean, some of these guys, as we've learned, these guys are not normal human beings. Some of them do heal faster. I mean, you saw it with Mike Evans. He came back like 3 weeks earlier than people thought. Joe Burrow came back 2 or 3 weeks before people thought he would. Like these guys, they will play through some pain. They will put their bodies on the line. So that's the last we've heard about Oliver potentially start of the playoffs. I would assume that if it's like 50-50 and depending on who we play, I could see them bumping him one more week into the playoffs, even if he says, hey, I'm good to go. But yeah, no major update the past 2 or 3 weeks with that Oliver from that last one. But we do have a game this week that obviously we said a big one. Not a big opponent necessarily, but there is a big player on their defense. Scott, do you want to go over the keys for the Bills' offense against this Cleveland defense?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is you kind of just hinted at is know where Myles Garrett is at all times. He's the best defensive player in football. He might even be the best player in football, to be honest with you. Having an incredible season. He has 21.5 sacks right now. The all-time record is 22.5 by Michael Strahan and TJ Watt. So he's going to break that. It's just a matter of, is it against us? In all likelihood, probably, just because he's that good. So they have to control Myles Garrett. He can wreck a game for you. The Browns defense actually isn't that bad. They just don't get a whole lot of help from their offense. They have a lot of really good young talent, all led by Myles Garrett. So they're going to have to make it a tough day for him. We're going to have tight ends chipping him. We're going to have running backs chipping him. Deion and Spencer better buckle up their chin straps because they're not going to try to leave him with him one-on-one, but there's going to be times where it happens, and they're going to have to at least slow him down. Like, you got to make him uncomfortable. And even if the tight end doesn't touch him, just having him be in the way, making Myles Garrett take a different path, having a tight end there so he has to come longer around the edge, having a running back there so he has to, think for half a second to set up the move he wants. Because if you just put him one-on-one around, he's going to win that 9 times out of 10. So gonna have to contain Myles Garrett because he's a stud, and easier said than done. And Josh Allen's going to have to know where he is. He's going to have to get the ball out quick. You don't try to extend the play off Myles Garrett because he's bigger, stronger, and faster than you. And that's not generally the case with Josh Allen, even with defensive linemen. But Myles Garrett's just one of them freaks. So gotta know where he is. Gotta attempt to slow him down.
Yeah, he's had 3 games this year without a sack, and it was a 3-game stretch versus the Lions, Vikings, and Steelers. Steelers, one of the top pass blocking offensive lines on the year so far this year. Vikings, Lions, I'm not 100% sure, but like he's a beast. He is a guy that I said I would give up 3 first-round picks if I was Bills for him. Like he automatically turns your defense into a top 10 defense at worst automatically. Like he's that good. And when we even talked to McGovern this past week, like it's going to be not just Dion, it's going to be the entire line. You're going to have to really read the defense and really put a body on him when you can, or a second body on him when you can. So he's going to get, he's going to get his. He's probably going to get at least one. My main thing is just make sure it's not on a big down, which is obviously harder than it easier said than done. And make sure Josh holds on to the football. Those are going to be the 2 keys when it comes to slowing down Myles Garrett. That, hey, if he gets 2 sacks, but they're not on major downs when you're in the red zone or you're driving and stalls out, like as long as it's on a drive where, hey, it's not the, it's you're struggling, you're backed up, 2nd 15, whatever, if there's a penalty and he gets a big one, not the end of the world. But yeah, if you're in the red zone and you get a sack to move you into, long field goal range, that's when it's going to be huge. But yeah, like you said, this defense is in general not a defense that even around Myles Garrett is a team that you can sleep on. They have some players around this defense. They are well coached when it comes to the defense. So they're going to have to take care of the football. They're going to have to try their best to slow down Myles Garrett. But at the same time, I think you're going to have to stick with James Cook. You're going to have to run the ball away from Myles Garrett, take him out of plays.
Get him the ball at Myles Garrett.
Or
run a lot of times a good way to kind of slow guys down is if you run right at them, because then they can't get as big of a jump, because if the ball's coming at them and they get upfield, you get behind them. So a lot of times with those DNs, you want to run at them, slow them down.
Yeah, and it might be even making him think like, hey, if they're going to run right at me, then it might affect his start ability when he's pass rushing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Slows him down.
So, yeah, it's going to be – I think you're going to have to lean on James Cook this game. I think that, if there's one thing that you should be able to maybe do against the Browns, it is run the football. Even though, yeah, like you said, we have Myles Garrett, but at the same time, this team you should be able to run the football pretty well against. So feed James Cook, just take care of the football. I say take care of the football every week, but it really is the most important part of the game, even on those losses. Patriots loss, was it 3 turnovers? Dolphins loss, I want to say.
Win the turnover. Yeah, when we win the turnover battle, we win the game.
Yeah.
Pretty much every week.
Just take care of the football, because this offense, which we're about to get into, this Browns offense is not good. So if you give them as many chances, they're eventually, these are NFL teams at the same time. They are eventually going to capitalize if you continue to give them the football back. But yeah, let's get right into that then, though. Bills defense, Shedeur Sanders. He is here. He's arrived. He's had a good game. He's had a pretty bad game. He's been kind of up and down. He's a rookie, right? Whether you're rooting for him to fail or they're rooting for him to succeed, he's a rookie and he's going to take.
Well, the Browns are rooting for him to fail. That's what I saw. That's what I've seen.
Yeah. Forgot about that one.
Yeah,
apparently, the Browns are rooting against their own team and rooting them to fail. But
he's
there
that against all odds. Third down completion he had.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess he gives him a little more juice than Dylan Gabriel was, but he does have one trait that he has had one at least big throw, I believe, every game. Like it seems like he has one big throw every game, but at the same time, like I said, he is a rookie, so he will have his rookie lumps if you can get in his head. The rest of the team is not going to help him. It's not. I mean, they have Quinshot Judkins, but their offensive line is not great. They struggle. They're bottom 4 in every single statistical category, if I can speak. Excuse me. And yeah, it's going to come down to just being able to not give up big plays, because if you give up big plays against bad offenses and they can get rolling, they can open up their playbook. that's a recipe for disaster. So, what is your number one key for the defense this week against the Browns offense?
Don't let them score more points than we do.
Great.
Shador's gonna sling it. I mean, that's the number one key. That's what it always is. That's why I hate that question. Shador's gonna sling it. He's not afraid to throw the football. QBR on the season is coming at a whopping 16.9. So it is old enough to drive, but not old enough to vote or drink. So he's working his way towards legal drinking age QBR. He's gonna sling it. Like, he's gonna throw the ball down the field. They have some receivers who, in theory, are okay, like Jerry Jeudy. He's kind of melted away in Cleveland, as a lot of players do. Harold Fannon's having a decent season, but it's one of those things. The Browns are a bad team. They're losing a lot. They have to throw the ball. Someone has to catch it. It's like on bad basketball teams. I'm a Nets fan. Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. are going to get their 30 because someone has to score the basketball. Someone has to catch the football when they throw it. Isaiah Bond is having a decent rookie season. We mentioned Quishon Judkins. We saw his good friend Trayvon Henderson last weekend. They're both very similar. Henderson has that home run ability. Just try to contain him. And the biggest thing for the Bills is just get a lead early, make them one-dimensional, make Shador have to throw the ball to beat us, and I promise you that he can't. Yeah, John said it here, get pressure on Shador. Shador is going to take sacks. He did it at Colorado. He's been doing it here so far in the league. He's going to hold on to the football. All rookies do. Shador does it more than most. He's going to try to extend the plays because he is athletic, but you just can't let coverage break down behind that when he's extending the plays. He's going to hold on to the ball. He's going to take those sacks. So don't let receivers get open on broken plays and make him have to beat us with his mind and being surgical and not, as an athlete, and everything should go just fine. Again, the Browns aren't really an offense that you should be worried about, but hey, it's the NFL. They get paid to play too. So just play disciplined football. Don't give him any cheapy penalties. Don't, if he's going to throw us some picks, we got to take advantage of them. And then hopefully, this is a nice confidence builder going into the Eagles next week. And then we got the Jets, another confidence builder, and then it's the playoffs.
Yeah, you alluded to it. I think you got to be able to make them one-dimensional and shut down Judkins. It's not necessarily something that should be hard. Like I said, the offensive line has struggled to open up holes for him, but if you allow Judkins to get going, then it will open up the rest of their playbook. It will open up everything for Shador, play action, everything like that. So, yeah, force Shador to throw, take Judkins away, no big runs, shut him down. So that's going to be the key for me is, similar to what you said, just make sure Judkins can't get going. But yeah, it's in theory, right? In theory, this should be a game the defense can handle. But as we've mentioned throughout the show, it is the NFL. It's any given week. You have to show up and play the games. You can't just show up and expect to win automatically. But yeah, offense, defense, not too much to really say other than what we've said. Let us know what you guys think the Bills need to do offensively or defensively. What's your key to the game? And how do you think they'll do? John, he had mentioned pressure on Shador. That's going to be his key for the defense there. So let us know overall offense, defense, what you guys think. Time for our start and sit, though. It says fantasy players here on our outline, but it's at this point, it's not just fantasy. It's football start and sit. So, Scott, what do you got for your start and sit for this week?
Yeah, we got the college football playoff this weekend. We have a mega day on Saturday. 3 college football playoff games, 1 tomorrow, and 2 NFL games this Saturday, I believe. I know Eagles, Commanders, and then Bears, Packers. So that's a couple good ones for our mega Saturday. But college football playoff is second year. It's been at 12 teams. We got a lot of people complaining about the group of 5 teams in there. And I say that you people are no fun. You can't have a playoff and not include half of the teams that play the sport. It is a weird year where 2 group of 5 teams got in. That probably will never happen again. Just the way the standings worked out in the ACC with their dumb tiebreakers. So it's going to be fun. You're either JMU or Tulane going to win? No, but it's not a safety hazard like some people out there are saying. They're all college Division I football players, and it'll be cool for those schools who will most likely never get back here again to have this run. So hopefully we get some good games. But again, the favorites should win to set up the better games down the stretch. But we got an awesome weekend of football. It's one of the best times of the year for football. Also, really sneaky good college basketball weekend this weekend. So it's an awesome weekend for sports all around. So I guess as a whole, I'm starting sports. And then I'm sitting too much playoff expansion, talking about trying to bring the college football playoff up to 16 teams, up to 24 teams. I think that's too much. Not that many teams deserve to make it. They're talking about expanding the NCAA tournament to 76. I really don't want them to do that because then it would make teams that finish 500 in Power 5 conferences or Power 4 conferences now on the bubble and maybe get in. So these playoffs, while more teams are fun to an extent, it needs to be exclusive. Going 8-4, going 9-3. A team like Texas, who went 9-3 and wanted to be in, but went to overtime against Kentucky and Mississippi State, does not deserve to be in the college football playoff because they didn't have a good enough season. So I think we need to limit how much we expand it. 12 might even be a little bit too much, but if we go 16-24, you might as well just let in everybody and start from week 1 and have the Mike Leach 130-team tournament that he wanted.
Yeah, that would be something, man. That would be people would pay to see that type of thing, but at the same time, they'd also still be complaining in some sports. It's never going to be perfect for everybody. Some people are always going to want more. Some people are always going to want less. It's just how it is. My start and sit though this week. I'm going to start Ray Davis. I think if you need a sneaky guy in your playoffs, obviously this is like if you absolutely need it. Like don't go out there and start him just because I said that I'd start him. Don't go out and start him. It's still a risky play, but I mean returnability. They're gonna look to run the ball. Maybe if they get a lead, maybe Ray Davis gets some touches. Maybe he can get in the end zone on either a return or a big run. I mean, who knows? He has looked a lot better the past few weeks, so that's gonna be my sneaky start. There is Ray Davis. Sit. I'm gonna go with Khalil Shakir. I think this, like I said, I think this will be a game where the Bills are going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to just continue to lean on James Cook in that backfield. And if they get a lead, it could really take guys like Shakir out of the game and might not be needed that much. So I'm going to go Shakir. I guess you could just say like Bills receivers as a whole in general this week. I just don't think they'll need to be used too much. Maybe the tight end, maybe Dawson Knox gets another big game here. But yeah. Any Bills receiver, I would probably sit this week. Game predictions, though. Let us know what you guys are thinking for game predictions. We'll put them up here on the screen. What you guys think, who's going to win, what's the score you got. Scott, what do you got for your score prediction?
I got Bills 24, Browns 10. That's a Bills covering a spread of 10.5, and the under, I think the under is 41.5 off the top of my head. So I like the Bills, and I like the under.
I'm going to go with 30-13. I think this will be a slow-paced game. Bills, sorry. 30-13 Bills. I think this will be a slow-paced game where the Bills are going to get an early lead and hopefully take early lead and chew some clock. Browns still get some points. I mean, our defense will give up at least one touchdown. So I think 30-13 it should be, though. It might be a boring game. It really might be. Like, it might be one of those games that it's 30-13 where you look back, you're like, that was not exactly the most fun Bills win you've seen, but a win is a win. And John here just as Bills win. That's
with the games we've been having, we don't need the most fun wins. A stress-free Sunday wouldn't suck.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's gonna be hopefully a stressful or a stress-free Sunday for Bills fans this week. Obviously, like you said, Scott, there's been some stressful games the past few weeks, and hopefully this one is not one. But yeah, I'm gonna go 30-13. Lance, we should have asked him. He actually did not have a score for today, but knowing him, he'd probably say like 53-3 Bills. He loves to really cover the spread by a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna say that's as a guess Lance's score somehow. But yeah, let us know though what you guys think. You guys will be looking back at the comments even after the show. So let us know. But that will do it for us this week in the Triple Coverage Podcast, this week double coverage. Just want to give one more shout out to our sponsors here. First one, let me pull this back up for anybody that missed it. 71 Slicks Barbershop over on Broadway in Depew. If you want to get a cut, scan this QR code. They take care of Lance. They take care of a great shop up there. So if you're looking for a haircut, scan the code, make your appointment, and tell them that Triple Coverage Podcast sent you. And the other one that we got is Lancaster Indoor Bounce House and Safari Arcade. So be sure to check them out as well. As Scott mentioned earlier in the show, good for any time of the year, no matter what, if it's a birthday, if it's celebrating New Year's, if it's Christmas, whatever you celebrate. So be sure to go check them out. We really appreciate both of them. But with that said, that is going to do it for us. So everybody, I hope you guys have a great weekend, getting ready for Christmas and everything. Hopefully we got a great weekend of sports this week as well, as Scott mentioned. So with that, go Bills.
Go Bills.